Hello again and welcome to the Franchise Everything podcast, where we talk about everything and anything franchising. And today we're at Gong Cha Bubble Tea headquarters in Sydney with Lili Shi, Master Franchisee, and Eddy Xu, who General Manager of Gong Cha. Thanks for having us today, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure. And today, this thing we're going to talk about this time, I know we're talking about a few different things today, but we're going to talk about 5 crucial things that have made Gong Cha Australia where it is today, where it's brought you to this point right now. So we've done a bit of preparation and come up with a few things. So the first thing we're going to start off with is, Lili, your moment of inspiration. You've got a bit of a story. You're not going to tell all of that now because we've got more stuff to talk about later. But your moment of inspiration in finding Gong Cha, because at the moment you're 145, soon to be 150 locations. Where and when did you find the brand?
It was back in end of 2011. I traveled to Taiwan and I had the biggest tasting week of bubble tea, and Gong Cha just stood out from everything else. So and the taste was absolutely amazing. And yeah.
Why were you trying bubble tea?
Oh, because I thought we needed another bubble tea brand in Australia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what was it that really jumped out about the brand?
The taste, or the brand, the mission of it being tribute tea and how we treat all customers like emperors, but ultimately the taste of the product. It was nothing that I had tried in Australia, and none of the other competitors, and they weren't competitors at the time, none of the other offerings were of similar quality.
Yeah, so it was just that quality about it. So they're an international brand obviously at that time, weren't they? So they'd already started and they were already franchised and establishing in other countries, is that right?
That's right. They were in Singapore, Hong Kong and Malaysia and Taiwan, of course.
Yeah, and so what was the feeling like when you found it? What did you do then? What was the whole approach from that moment?
Well, I wanted to bring it back to Australia so everyone in Australia can have the same quality product, you know, and taste what I tasted in Taiwan, not having to travel all the way there to have the same experience.
And that light bulb, was it a relief when you found that light bulb moment? Because we're talking about this is a key moment to the brand, clearly, because you found it to bring it to Australia. I mean, you could have been another brand, couldn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but it ended up being Gong Cha. So what was the feeling like when you found that? So then you were obviously jumping back. Were you talking to them at that stage already? Did they know you were looking at the brand?
Yeah, so I had initial meetings with them in Taiwan, and after I tasted the product, I was sold. I went back there a few times to convince them that I was the right person to do the
Very
job.
tenacious, were you?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. She's back again.
I had to sell myself,
yes.
really. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did.
But that's a good thing, isn't it? That you don't just hand it out to anyone for any other country.
Because they had 200 stores at the time already.
In Taiwan?
No, worldwide at the time. Yeah. So, and it's a big step because Australia was the first Western market for them outside of Southeast Asia. So they need to be very careful with.
Yeah, I can imagine Eddie. That's a pretty big thing, isn't it? So it being the first Western market, Australia, to get that right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just go back to the tasting. Like the milk foam is something I'm still dying for, because I still remember the day that Lili made it. The very special milk foam, I tasted like, oh my God. And I think go back to the naming of the product. I'm pretty certain that Lili actually coined the term milk foam. And
did you coin the term milk foam?
At the time, because Gong Cha was only in Southeast Asia countries. Yeah. So the name for the English names were a bit more generic. They called it the signature Gong Cha milk tea. Mm-hmm. But then I thought the milk tea and the regular milk tea, there's a slight confusion there. Mm-hmm. So once I tasted it, it was the texture, which is like a milky foam. And that's how I got the name.
Didn't exist before then?
No, and now worldwide it's called milk foam. So that's great.
You should seriously claim that and get something for it and stop other people using it. That's it. All right. So that's that first one. That's the inspiration where you found Gong Cha. And I know there's a much bigger story to all of that. We'll talk about later. The second one of the crucial moments or the crucial things that have made Gong Cha what it is today in Australia is something that I imagine would be massively exciting for an entrepreneur is taking over a competitor's location to show that you're the one. Tell me about that. Tell me about that point.
Well, I remember, so that was in one of the Sydney CBDs. I was the one, I think, signed the lease. I look at the address, like, oh my God, I'm pretty familiar with the address, and I double check with the team. Are we really going for that site? And we're really excited to sign the lease with the lease source as well. So. But nothing really out of the ordinary, because we went through the site selections or the due diligence, the fit outs, whatnot. when the team was there and setting up the stores, I think that's the moment of a realization that we are no longer, I don't know.
We're no longer trailing behind other brands.
Yeah, because were you saying that the brand, we're not going to say the brand. We're not going to say the brand. But, and that wouldn't be fair anyway. But so you've taken over site and made a site work that another bubble tea brand couldn't. And I think that is quite significant to a brand coming in. And that brand had 40 to 50 stores ahead of you. Is that something
When we first started, when we had the first store, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we took over that, they still had 40 or 50 stores. More than us at the time. So yeah. And that was the moment when, we realized that our product is different and better.
Yep. Yeah, and stacks up well and truly into the market for where you wanted it to go.
Well, and I'm proud to say since then we have taken over, I'd say six to eight
sites.
Different competitors' sites and put Gongcha there and thrived.
Excellent. That's a good one, that one, isn't it? But that would have been exciting. Okay, the third one we're going to go over is the crucial things that made Gongcha what it is today in Australia is Snoopy approaching you. So what was Snoopy up to? It's about intellectual property, which is obviously a big name and a big brand. Tell us that story.
Snoopy was turning 70. It was their 70th year anniversary, and they wanted to have a younger audience to celebrate Snoopy. They approached us, which we're very honoured, and that opened so many doors since. But it was a huge moment for us because we hadn't been doing much marketing at the time. We relied on word of mouth. And that was the grand moment when we realised how we are perceived, how Gongcha is perceived by other brands or international brands.
I imagine that'd be huge because if you think about it, there are so many QSRs and all sorts of chains that would be approaching intellectual property owners to use their intellectual property to promote to attach themselves to it. So to get approached by such a big brand must have been really exciting.
It was.
It is also a proof that how mature the team is, because for large organizations or IP, they wouldn't work with, I hate to use the word, but it's called nobody. So it also means that we are well established, well organized.
Because they're entrusting you with their brand as much as anything, aren't they?
Exactly.
Yeah. And what did you do with it? What was the promotion? Like, can you go into details of it? How did you go? If it was your first time, how did you break it down and go about it? I mean, were you nervous at executing it poorly, or what were your thoughts around it?
We were very fresh at the time, and we weren't sure, So
So you were pretending you knew what you were doing.
Absolutely.
That's the sense I get.
I was extremely happy with the campaign results. We did a round of cups, so all our disposable cups. We sell over 1 million drinks a month. So we had Snoopy on cups, and then for, I think, a period of 6 weeks.
Correct.
All of our drinks had the Snoopy character on the cups, which is amazing because our customers, they see the cups and they love it. They take pictures of it. They share it on social media. So Snoopy is being celebrated everywhere.
With you attached to it.
Yeah.
Excellent. And you get a lot now. So what's followed on since then? Some other stuff? Other promotions and everything since then?
Yeah, so we had a collaboration with Netflix. So we're celebrating
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
Yes.
Was a Halloween initiative, and then followed by Bonds. We had a really,
fun campaign.
Fun campaign. So we actually made a Bonds theme, 2 Bond themed drinks for them.
And we've got the emoji, the
fridge magnets.
Everyone knows about. They use every day on their phones.
Yes.
We've got the fridge magnets, collectibles. And then moving forward, we've got Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig is coming up.
Excellent. Can't forget Peppa.
Yeah. Oh, we need to get Peppa Pig in the stores. That's going to be huge.
That's awesome.
So also, I think as we progress with Snoopy's, there's a lot of lesson learned for us as well. So we're being really careful, being mindful when we're choosing the brand to collaborate, because eventually we want to have a win-win for both.
Of course.
Of the
or they won't come back. You'll lose that opportunity, or even other people are potentially doing deals with you will see that it was poorly handled or didn't work very well, and you'll lose those opportunities. Excellent.
Just another one. We actually have Snoopy coming back to us for a second round. So that's happening a few months' time. This time we're going to be doing reusable tumblers.
Nice.
Yeah, so with Snoopy and Gongcha together again.
Excellent. All right, keeps growing.
So it worked the first time.
Yeah, more deals. So they must have been pretty happy. All right, so that was a good one. Snoopy's great. The fourth one. So the fourth one we'll talk about in crucial things that have made Gong Cha what it is today is warehousing for scale, warehouses in Sydney, your own warehouses. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we started with one warehouse where it serves pretty much for all the stores in Australia. And then we realized that in order to cut down the cost, we need to change. And one of the change that we made is to expand the warehouse. Warehouse expansion also means that we're expanding our team, our service. This actually go back to how we treat our franchisees. Essentially, they are our customers. So this is our response to the franchisees' feedback that, okay, there are a lot of costs. Can we scale? Can we consider cut down the cost? So expanding the warehouse is where we like when we're moving all the stock from the old place to the new ones. If you look how big it is and the difference, it's almost like, wow, that we're making another leap.
I can imagine when you're probably just handling stuff as it comes in and getting it straight to store and storing it there, or in makeshift garages and all sorts of stuff over the place for a year, I imagine, over the years when you first start, you're doing there.
Oh, I was using my own garage.
Oh, yeah? You were. So it was all there. What is it, tapioca balls or something? I saw dry ones for the first time today. I've never seen them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I thought they were.
Oh, right.
But where they came from.
That's
right. It was very interesting. So you had boxes of those, no doubt, in your store, in your garage.
That's right. And now we are prepared for, like just in Sydney alone, we're prepared for the warehouse in Sydney to serve the rest of Australia, because Melbourne, we've got another warehouse. Brisbane, we've got 2 warehouses.
Yep.
But Sydney goes to all the small.
So you've got 3 in Sydney, is that right? Did you say?
3
warehouses, yeah.
4 forklifts. That just tells you how much is
stock
going
you're going
in and
through.
out. That's right. But we are prepared for 200 stores. So, the projections are there, and we're proud to be on the right way to that.
Excellent. Well, adding warehouses means you must be ordering a lot of stock, that's for sure. All right, so the fifth one now, the fifth thing on that's made Gong Cha what it is today is, and I think this is one that excites many franchisors who've got a brand and are growing, is franchisees reinvesting in the business, multi-site franchise owners. So when did you start getting multi-site franchise owners reinvesting in the business?
Oh, I think it was in around the 2nd or the 3rd year. I was actually the very first one, because I had opened the first store, the corporate store, back in 2012. 3 months later, I had my 2nd store. So I was investing my own money.
So you're your own multi-site franchise.
Absolutely. I was the first one. And then after that, it was Adelaide. And then that same Adelaide owner, he opened in 2013, so 10 years ago. Now he's got 5 stores.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what sort of is that fairly common through the system? What are you seeing with people there? Is it are you finding people are approaching your business with the view because they want to be multi-site owners, or do you see people just normally getting single locations?
Everyone always start with one.
Yeah.
But then once they've been operating for 6 months a year, they realize it can be scaled, and then the profitability and how easy it is to run the business. They invite their family members and they open more sites together with the family or on their own.
Yeah, and how many, just it's a little off topic, I suppose, but it's just a thought bubble came in. What sort of staff numbers run a store? So for making and production and things like that, what does that look like?
Oh, it depends on the sales, of course, but at a quiet time, maybe 1 person.
Wow.
A very busy store will have 6. So, and then it really just depends on how the sales pan out and where the location of the store is. But typical stores, 2 to 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've learnt a lot more about Gong Cha, I think, today, and this brand is obviously continuing to grow through Australia. You've got more store openings in the next month or so, don't you?
Yes, we've got 7 sites happening in the next couple of months, and 5 of them are the multi-site owners, which is very exciting.
Excellent. Well, Eddie, Lili, thank you so much for inviting us to Gong Cha today. Really enjoyed our time, and I hope anyone who's been listening to this has got a hell of a lot out of it and learned more about Gong Cha.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.